Hi guys, my name is Rose Gadel. Thank you for coming into my channel. And today I felt like being a little bit vulnerable with myself and sharing about how I studied in the US for 6 years and decided to move to Nepal, back to my home country, and sort of figure out what was next from there. I moved to the United States when I was 15 years old, and I moved without knowing anything or even much about American culture, what goes on in there. I didn't have a single plan. I just watched some Hollywood movies and obviously listened to Taylor Swift a lot, so that was what was in my head at the moment. We moved to this small town called Findlay in Ohio, and it was it was peaceful, but I think it was too peaceful for me because I lived in Kathmandu. I live in Kathmandu and I grew up here, so I think I was used to the chaos and the synergy and the mixture of different cultures and people and diversity. But there was very little diversity in Ohio, which made a lot of things, sort of in a small way challenging for me. But I think I adjusted to it pretty okay. I think internally I was struggling a lot, but I decided not to share this with anybody and just sort of kind of enjoy what I had. And there was a lot of moment when I moved, in the US, that I lied to myself a lot about who I truly was and what I wanted out of life. I think at 15 and 16, you don't really have that level of self-esteem that you need to have a firm stance on what you want to do with your life. So I sort of went with the flow and I tried my best to fit in, and a lot of it was obviously futile. And next I studied my bachelor's. I got my bachelor's there as well, and for 4 years I studied there, and then COVID struck, which was when I had this eye-opening moment of sort of having to face myself. And I just decided in a moment that like the reality that I was in was just not really serving me in a way that it should, or I was not serving the reality in the way that I should have, if that makes sense. I wasn't doing the things that were making me truly happy or bringing in a lot of changes and challenges into my life, which I wanted, right? Everything was it just seemed like boxes after boxes that I was supposed to fit in, and it just got really lonely as well. I struggled a lot in different ways, emotionally, physically, mentally, during COVID specifically. I know a lot of international students did, because the truth is that everyone moves home. Everyone goes home during this time, and you're just stranded in a different country with basically nowhere to go. And but as soon as I finished my bachelor's degree, I decided to come back to Nepal. It wasn't a very planned, thought out decision, because the rest of my journey would not have been as panic ridden and confusing. But anyways, after 6 years of trying to fit into this different culture system and making something that wasn't my own, like the culture and everything over there, I didn't really think how challenging moving back to my own country would be. It was one of the most uniquely challenging and difficult thing that I have ever had to do in my entire life. I came back in late 2021, and a few days were fine, but then, my parents were like, what are you gonna do next? I had no idea. I was trying to sort of, after I moved back, I was trying to take a break and hoping to heal emotionally and physically as well. I was sort of sick. I had this weird allergy that no one really could figure out what was wrong over there, and then I came back and it just sort of went away. And I decided to join this institution, this government institution, which was through one university for a few months. That was very difficult because I had forgotten everything about what Nepal was like. I had forgotten what the culture was, how you talk to people, how you navigate the world here, how you navigate, for example, going to get your employment card. That was a difficult procedure, I'm not gonna lie. I was like crying because all of these things you're supposed to know when you're 17, 18, and I just never got a chance to learn about any of these things when I was in Nepal. And I was this adult who was living in the US by myself, like doing all these things, and then here I don't even know how to say open a new account in a bank. I had to I had to get help. And those little things were definitely challenging and annoying as well, because it's like I've already done, I don't want to change the way that the things that I've learned in the first place. It's hard. And so the way that I was used to, like things like customer service in the Midwest, people were very nice, and customer service is the top thing in the United States if you don't know. And the rest of the world, it's not like that. It's not, the customer is always right. So anywhere you go, you're gonna be treated with like bare minimum of love and respect, which I was used to, but those things were really challenging and got me really frustrated. I felt really scared a lot of the time. I felt very like blank, I had no idea. I had no plans. And plan was like a thing that was not even in my vicinity at the moment, because everything, I didn't even know what to choose, what to pick. That was really difficult. I wasn't ready for not having a mode of transportation as well, because I didn't have a license here. That was the oh my god, I cried when I got my license in the second time, but the first time I lost, and I could tell my parents were a little bit sad because they thought oh, I could just get it, but and it was really hard to drive a stick as well. The roads were definitely very scary. It was a very traumatic experience for me trying to learn how to drive in Nepal. And also public transportation. I used public transportation in the beginning when I had to go to university and I didn't have my own medium of transport, and I don't mind using it. It's just sometimes it's definitely a little bit scary. If you have to come home at night, it's not really safe, and using Batawan and Drive was definitely easier towards the end, but then I actually got into an accident that could have been very serious, but it wasn't, thank God. This bike, which was coming in very high speed, hit my bike and my Batao's bike, and I sort of fell and I had a knee scratch, and it could have been worse because it was a two-way traffic. It was the Deku road, so it was definitely a little bit sort of scary, and even that situation sort of freaked me out. So I tried my best after that to limit my usage of Patao because I would get scared, so I used public transportation as well. And then finally, when that was definitely difficult because I'd been driving for 6 years. To work, I was working all the time. I was involved in different things. I had like places to go. And here, I didn't have a job. I didn't have anything. I would get like these really bad headaches in the beginning, and I still do sometimes when I'm stressed out, but I've learned now how to handle it. I've taken help to sort of figure that out as well, but those were a really difficult situations. But the most important part is not knowing what to do, because the opportunities all of a sudden is so small. The pool that you are competing in is so small, and the idea that you had about what it would be like is just completely different, just like it was for me when I moved to the US the first time. The idea I thought wasn't what the reality was. It feels very empty at times, coming back into my own country, and empty in a sense that, again, that pool of opportunities, pool of jobs, pool of openings, pool of things you want to do is very limited. But at the end of the day, I do think it was sort of maybe like a meant to be thing, I don't know, helping me to constrict between different forms of indecisions that I had when it came to jobs and when it came to things I wanted to do, which was what led me here to the first place. In America, I just was lost. I fortunately was lucky enough to be able to transfer to a university that, you know, was able to offer a course that I had done my bachelor's in, and I got my master's from there. Well, I just finished classes. I'm still waiting for my result. Having a sort of way of certainty, because at this moment there's a lot of people in my life that, you know, I was friends with, and everyone's doing what they love. They've already found it, and you're just like, well, I'm just blank, you know. I'm just literally in this position where I don't really know what I want to do. That was scary. It was really a lot to take in. At the time, I did a lot of writing. I wrote a lot of poems that I think helped me cope. And from the outside, people would come up and ask me, why did you come back? It doesn't make any sense. People are dying to go and study there and work there, and you had this perfect opportunity and blow up. They don't say that to my face, but I think I know they mean that. But it's not like that for everyone, I think. Sometimes what seems like a lot of people would want, maybe some people wouldn't want. And I did miss that economic security part of leaving. Having a job, because you spend so much money, you want to basically earn that back, right? Or at least be economically independent. And I wasn't. In fact, I was still paying my credit card debt a little bit. It wasn't a lot. But I paid it on my own. And that was scary. I'm still scared now. Like, I don't have an answer for when people ask me, well, what are you gonna do? What's your plan? Like, how are you gonna be economically secured? By this, I don't want to say a creator. He used to be a neurosurgeon. His channel goes by the name of his dogs called Gooby and Dooby, and he's sort of shared his inspiring story about feeling lost, about quitting his job after about 25 years of being a neurosurgeon. I might have gotten the you're strong, so please correct me if I'm wrong. And I said, like, people, you know, there are people who make those scary understanding of themselves and revelations of themselves that probably would terrify them to their core, and they're still there. They're like, sometimes I feel like maybe I'm not delusional, maybe I am on the right path. That's the thing about a right path. Like, nobody up until 10th grade, people love to give you plans and people love to tell you what to do, and then when you're all of a sudden, when you actually need someone to give you a plan, there's no plan. Nobody's gonna give you a plan, right? And it's like you're just crying to the sky or begging to the angels, like whatever you want to call it, God, universe, and just please just give me a way. Like, you're panicking. I had those moments a lot of those panic ridden moments. I still do someday, and I don't know what came up to me to make this YouTube video. I just felt like creating. There was a lot of sexism that I experienced as well when I was trying to work. Labor's right isn't as protected as it's in the US, I believe, especially in the entertainment industry that I was sort of trying to tap in. But I do realize that I think it's for the best that I didn't get those opportunities that I wanted, because the contract wouldn't have been on my term. I think I will make another video talking about that as well. I joined Miss Nepal because it sort of felt like a way to get myself back. I used to love public speaking and dancing and singing and writing poems and, you know, all this stuff, and I wanted to be an artist someday. And I thought that would be a perfect chance to do that, and I joined Miss Nepal for that purpose, and that was another heart-wrenching experience. I don't know, it didn't go the way that I had sort of let out to be. But yeah, doing master's here, I'm grateful for the people I've met. There were a lot of challenges on that as well, so we'll definitely talk about it. Compare notes between what it's like to go to a university in USA and what it's like to be a university student here in Nepal. I wasn't the only one who came back from studying abroad. There were so many people that I met, and you know, it seemed like they were happy. I study economics, so it's important for me to have different experiences in different countries as well. And another thing was I studied economics in the US. When I was picking out majors, that was another whole story, and I couldn't decide and so I landed on economics, but I couldn't sort of connect to, you know, that, and I think that like studying here in Nepal definitely helped. But yeah, to be honest with you, I don't really know what the point of this video is. It's just me trying to sort of share my experience, not even experience, like thoughts and feelings, and sort of putting it out there. Don't know why, but hopefully something comes out of it. Hopefully there are people who also have a similar journey that, you know, would enjoy, or you know, want to share something that would be nice. It's not, I see a lot of these videos, Nepal Mate, and I see people saying, oh, there are opportunities, you just have to find them. I think there are opportunities, but not for everyone. Obviously that's the truth of the world. Like, you have to travel, you have to move around to see where you fit the best, and some people just find the right set of things for themselves, some people don't. I personally struggle to find one other than teaching, and maybe not even public speaking, because the pay is just really low. So that's sort of, but teaching is just something that I love doing here. I've gotten to, oh my god, connect to so many kids. They're about 16 and 17 years old, and they're just bright, amazing students. I've enjoyed that. But other than that, I think that's where I got sort of fair pay as well. And yeah, I miss America sometimes. I do. I miss the freedom and stuff, but I did miss some of the things, but I didn't really miss the life there when I came back, to be honest with you. I missed the freedom, and it was really hard to get used to a lot of things, but maybe I will miss it. Maybe I will, I don't know. That these things are different for everyone. So anyways, I appreciate you guys pressing this video and listening to me just yap, basically. So yeah, thank you, bye-bye.